I consider myself a watch enthusiast, a watch snob if you will. I just generally dislike the idea of wearing a supercomputer on my wrist instead of a real watch. That is until I saw this video.
When you walk in a room with that on your wrist, you're telling everybody I'm 20% off retail. You want to get a watch that talks about you.
And I thought to myself, I don't want to miss out on tech experience because I'm afraid of what other men think of me. So I got myself this Apple Watch Series 10 in 46mm, and after having used it for a couple of months, I actually like it more than I thought I would. And since I'm a watch nerd, it's impossible for me to talk about how much I like my Apple Watch without comparing it to my mechanical watch. I know it sounds insane to be comparing a wearable computer to an obsolete timekeeping machine that's just made up of mechanical parts, but this is the only way I can think of to make it make sense. My mechanical watch comes at 39mm in diameter and the thickness of 11mm. And the Apple Watch Series 10 comes at 46mm and 9.7mm in thickness. Both of them fits nicely on my wrist and never gets in my way. The mechanical watch has 43 hours of power reserve, but it has an automatic self-winding movement. You see this rotor at the back? It moves as I move my arm while wearing it, which means that it's going to keep working all year round as long as I keep wearing it every day. The Apple Watch has 18 hours of battery life, which means that I have to charge it every day. And this is a little bit annoying because now I have one more device that I have to remember to charge. The mechanical watch has 100 meters of water resistance. Whenever you want to set the time or wind the watch, you have to unscrew the crown and then screw it back when you finish so that the water doesn't get inside. While the Apple Watch 10 has water resistance rating of 50 meters. And the cool thing is that when it is submerged, it shows the depth of the water. But since I know for a fact that I will never go diving or swimming anywhere deeper than 2 meters, these numbers don't really matter to me, although it gives me some peace of mind knowing that it will survive in the shower. The movement inside the mechanical watch is just beautiful to look at, but it doesn't do much more than telling the time and the date. And when comparing it to the Apple Watch, it's not even a competition. Set a 20 minutes timer. I don't think most people realize how powerful this actually is. It tracks your heart rate, blood oxygen, breathing. It even tracks your foot path if you ever get lost in IKEA. The amount of tech that is fitted into this tiny watch is just insane. Now, most of the features that I mentioned in this video are also available on smartwatches from other brands. So get yourself a Garmin watch or Samsung watch or whatever you like, unless you are knee deep in the Apple ecosystem like I do. And if you do, that's good for you because what this thing does is that it elevates your Apple experience. Like using my iPhone to unlock my Apple Watch, using my Apple Watch to unlock my Mac, and finding my iPhone while wearing my Apple Watch just by pressing a button. I can also send a quick reply using voice dictation, which is also a pretty cool feature. Hi, can you call me when you get home? I can play and pause music through the Apple Watch. That's pretty standard, but what's special about the Series 10 now is that you can also blast music at full volume through the Apple Watch speaker.
Welcome back to another episode of what I can only assume is your 34th favorite podcast.
Well, I guess there are things in life that just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. If you see this camera app on the Apple Watch and wondering, why is there a camera app here? There's no camera on this watch. Well, that's because when you click on it, it turns on the camera of your iPhone and turns the Apple Watch into a remote camera control. And I gotta say that's a pretty cool feature. It syncs up fully with Apple Map, but not Google Map. What I mean is that when you ask for direction on Apple Map, it shows you the entire map on the Apple Watch, but it only shows the walking distance when you're using Google Map. Fall and crash detection is also what Apple is famous for. It automatically calls the emergency services and alerts your emergency contact if it detects a crash, which I pray it will never have to be activated. There's one big problem for me though. There's no Facebook Messenger app on the Apple Watch. I can still see notification and send reply, but if there's a photo or an attachment, I can't see it on the watch. I still have to pull out my phone and check the message. And as a user who communicates with my family a lot through Facebook, this is quite a big issue for me. For health and fitness features, there are many workout tracking options available. It's actually pretty good at tracking calories and all these stats when you're working out. But unfortunately, it's a feature that I rarely ever use. I gave it a try for a couple of weeks, but I soon realized that it's not for me. And that's because my workout is not really calorie-based. But if you think that calorie-based workout is for you, then there are tons of videos on YouTube that you can look at. There are some features that I just turned off entirely, like this stand-up reminder feature. The other day, it just woke me up at 3 AM and told me to stand up. I can't even make this up, man. After using it for a couple of months, I think the benefit of this Apple Watch comes down to two things. The first one is convenient. Like when I get a notification, instead of pulling out my phone from my pocket like a caveman, I can just gracefully glance at my watch and know who texted me. If you're worried about getting too many unnecessary notifications, you can turn them off in the voice setting and only allow for the apps that you want to get notified. I can access to things like schedule, note, or shopping list without reaching out for my phone. And this convenience also comes with other benefits. In 2015, a survey found that an average American checked their phone somewhere between 46 to 74 times a day. And I remember back in the day, this was considered an alarming number. And in 2025, this number shot up to 144 to 200 times a day. And why does this number matter? Well, the more I check on my phone, the more likely I look at social media, and the more likely I get stuck in doom scrolling. And this doom scrolling wouldn't have happened if I already see the notification on my wrist. And the second benefit, which is very important to me, is that it helps me being more aware. No, not that kind of aware, but aware that my heart rate is beating at 100 beats per minute in a calm state, which means that I should probably check on my anxiety problem, and aware that I only get 2 hours of sleep for 3 days in a row. Yeah, that's probably not good. Being aware of my health condition is quite essential. Of course, it doesn't magically make me healthier, but knowing my condition means that I am likely to actively try to fix it. I gotta admit, the Apple Watch is quite useful for my everyday life, and I think everyone should own a smartwatch. But for some reason, I always end up picking my mechanical watch a lot more than my Apple Watch. Like when I go to class, having dinner, or even just going out for some fresh air. I think there's a beauty in the simplicity of a mechanical watch that a smartwatch don't have. Maybe it's a look. The Apple Watch has a sleek and clean design like a block of metal with screen. It looks alright with jeans and t-shirt, but I think anyone who wears a smartwatch with a suit should be arrested. But then again, I've only seen this guy with a suit, so he might be onto something. Or maybe it's the fact that not all of our daily activities need to be tracked and interpreted into data, and not all notifications need to be seen quickly at all times. Other than my wedding ring, a watch is the only accessory that I would wear. And sometimes looking at my wrist to see a simple timekeeping device makes me feel more at ease than seeing a list of notifications. So am I still a watch snob? Maybe, but now I'm a watch snob with an Apple Watch on my wrist. Alright, one more thing. I've been super busy lately because I'm at the last semester of my master's program, so I don't have a lot of time to make videos. If I do, it would just be videos for my school project. So yeah, hopefully that will change soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.